Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of With Conviction, a story of hope, horror, and history. My name is Rain. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your GM for this adventure. With me are my intrepid heroes for this campaign. Why don't you all introduce yourselves?
I think right now we're horrified heroes.
Horrified heroes, yeah, that's good.
Horrified's good. Yep.
So I'm Alice, she and they pronouns. I play Desdemona Hartwood, supposedly apathetic, goth, magical girl with a heart of pink. And her pronouns are also she, they.
I'm Skyland. My pronouns are they and them, and I play Chris Whitlock, whose pronouns are she or any. Chris is a very sporty, magical not a girl, and is a self-proclaimed them fatale. Not that I know what that means just yet, but we're getting there.
I'm Robert. Despite everyone's best efforts, my pronouns are he and him, and I play Eliza Hardwick, a young girl who has a surprising knowledge of art history, apparently, especially 20th century mid-period stuff.
Apparently. I believe the last we left you, you had found what appears to be an infestation of similar tissues that you've seen before related to the darkness. The inside of this office had been overtaken. You were poking around, and nothing immediately grabbed your attention. And then you heard something moving near the roof.
Before we get to whatever horror is on the roof, I need you to know that you've described a lot of scary shit, and somehow the description you just made is what put shivers down my spine.
Was it the use of the word tissues?
Yes, it was.
Oh, God. Well, I'm glad that it's effective.
Okay. I'm ready for the rest of the scary shit now, I guess. Let's go.
There's a click, click, click as calcite claws curl around the edge of the roof. It grips and a torso levers itself down into the space, followed by 3 more limbs. The humanoid shape steps gingerly down onto the ground, and you can see it clutches an antique sword close to its chest. Its body is coated in an amethyst exoskeleton, black ooze clinging to the joints like glue. A single plate of amethyst calcite covers where its face should be, rendering it impassive as it twitches and dangles from unseen strings.
I rescind what I said earlier about being ready for the rest of the scary shit.
And you can hear it growling. The blade is key. The key. Doesn't quite seem to have noticed you yet.
Is it game time?
Very, very quietly as she can, Des is whispering, "Do you think we can reason with it?"
There has been no equivalent thought process in Eliza's mind. She sees one of these nasties with a sword, and you two can actually just see this look of delight on her face. And Eliza transforms.
All right, as this thing's head whips around toward you, there's still no expression on the armor plate, and it howls as you transform. Go ahead and roll.
That is a 12 on the dice.
Alrighty then, strong start.
Alright, and we get the full transformation sequence, of course, but all of the fire in this is just overlaid with an indigo, as Eliza is already at +3 darkness at the moment. And she just finishes her transformation sequence, her sword appearing in a flash of sparks, and it catches on fire as she settles into a formal fencing pose, and then holds it in a salute against this thing for a moment.
I love that. What are the other 2 of you doing?
I think that's a no to reasoning with it. And Chris does her best to transform.
All right, go ahead and roll.
She's not sold on how this works yet. Let's see. We're going to try my dice tray instead of the tower again. That is an 8 on the dice. That's a straight roll, right?
Yes, that is a flat roll. That is a
Right.
partial
Not
success.
straight for me. I'm sorry. It is a flat roll.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Go ahead and adjust your conviction accordingly and tell us what that looks like.
That actually raises a question for me. Do I have to change my conviction when I transform, or can I keep it at +3?
I'm inclined to say you can keep it at +3.
Because if I go to +4, then a single sway roll will send me off the edge.
Yeah, I like to encourage this kind of tactical thinking in my players, so yes, you may keep it at +3.
Sounds good.
I have a tactical question because this is. Hi, I'm the newest person to this game. Last time when we met a thing, you, Rain, were taking note of whether something had darkness or light, and sway rolls moved you toward the thing, right?
Correct.
Okay. Given that Chris is still figuring out what this game is and how to play it, she's currently working on the instincts that she has. So, her small feet stamp into a powerful, balanced stance. Her running shoes sink in to the tendrils, and the tendrils turn to earth, and that earth rises to hug Chris's muscular body. That dirt flows over her skin and then falls away, revealing a platonically tan, high-slit skirt and bodice. A light blue and rust-orange bolero creates something of a boob window and echoes the blue and orange trim and lacing on the rest of her outfit. A pair of over-the-knee, black and brown leather high-heel boots clack onto a rock pedestal that has raised Chris to a square 5'5". Chris's hair flows in a ponytail, and as she shakes her head, the highlights in her hair flare just a little brighter than normal. A confident smile graces her angled face, and she leans down to collect her ammo, a ball of stone pulled from that pedestal. She jumps down, and she takes a few steps back, because that's her spot on the field.
All right. Des, what you doing?
Des is trying to see if there's any way she can get out of transforming and fighting.
Well, there's the open hole behind you.
Yeah, but she's not gonna just sprint out of there. She's scared, but that's not the reason she doesn't want to transform. I think it's kind of so should we talk about this as a team, guys? Maybe figure out how we're gonna go about this. And Eliza and Chris are both already transformed and running towards the baddie. Going, oh, okay.
What's going through Dez's head right now?
It is two things battling it out in Dez's head. One is her very, very strong desire to help out her friends, even if she doesn't know them super well yet. The other thing is she really doesn't want to be pink again. I think for this first round, she's not going to transform.
All right. So for the first round, let's set out the zones. On the far side of the room, there is a pile of blades, and in the opposite corner, there is a pile of heaped tendrils. In the middle of the room, there is the table, and where you all currently are is the hole in the wall where you have entered through. Behind you, there is the factory floor itself. The only place of these that cannot be reached immediately from all of the others is the factory floor. You must pass through the hole in the wall before you get there.
You know how it is. It's like a regular home, heap of swords, heap of tendrils, hole in wall. Very, very normal.
I mean, my house is 1 out of 3 so far, so.
I was going to say, I'm a longtime LARPer. I definitely have a heap of swords in a corner.
Yeah, me too.
The sword heap.
I'm staring at the wall right now.
Look, I mean, who among us?
Doesn't have sword heap?
Where's the baddie? Which zone is it in?
The monster is currently in the zone with the heap of swords.
All right, well, straight in, no thoughts about it. Eliza's just going for it. And her jetpack, unfolds a set of rocket thrusters prime, indigo fire streaking out of him. She vaults over the table with this and goes straight for the thing with the tip of her sword. And let's see. I have decisive because I rolled that 12 on the transformation, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that is a 5 on the dice, plus a 1 for decisive, plus 2 for Eliza's fighting skill, which is reading patterns, so total is 8.
All right, that is a partial success. You do hit.
And for those at home, the Eliza's strike ability means when she moves into a different zone, she adds her current darkness to the stress inflicted with a fight roll. So that is going to be a total of 4 stress.
Oof, yeah, this thing
Nice.
stumbles as you straight up lop off one of its arms. It gives a guttural howl and lurches away from you. It lurches over to one of the walls, and you see it drops the sword, reaches over, and with a flex of its muscles, yanks what's left of the wounded arm off of its body and throws it aside into the pile of tendrils.
I hate that.
Hate that.
You see it reaches up to some of the tendrils that are flicking around on the walls and pulls one off and grinds it into that stump. And you see the black goo start to weld together and grow into a fleshy arm.
Nightmare fuel. Thanks.
Yeah, that's real gross.
I did in fact agree to play this game.
I did say I was thinking about pumping the brakes. This is not the worst I could have done.
And I did in fact encourage you to go hard on the horror, so...
And you just, you hear it growl, "Here, bite this," as it does that. So whose turn is it?
So, Table Talk, that sounds to me like the monster might have a healing something or another, or that the environment of the tendrils might become a problem.
Agreed.
I think this has got to be Chris's turn. What do you think, Alice?
I'm super down with that.
Nice swing, coach, is Chris's response to all of that. She's far enough away from this. I think she played a lot of left field early on in her softball career, and she's got that softball that she pulled out of the rock that she just summoned. Cool. And she's gonna hurl it at the thing. You gave us a description of purple armor
Yes.
and a sword? Okay. Is there like a hole in the armor or anything that looks like... Is it completely armored?
The arm that has been removed, or that was removed and replaced, is now unarmored. And you can see where there are joints. You can see there seems to be a black glue sticking it together.
Okay. I think Chris's first instinct is to disarm this thing. So she's going to aim for...
That was
the
Eliza's
sword.
first instinct, too.
Yeah.
It already dropped the sword.
Oh, it already dropped
Yes.
the sword. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I missed that from all the nightmare fuel that was surrounding that information.
I also
I'm
missed
so
that.
sorry.
Are you?
No.
I kinda am. I'm hoping there's no nightmares coming from this.
She has to edit this later.
That's true. She does have to subject herself to it.
I had to come up with it.
So, yeah, with the sword down, which was Chris's first instinct, was, okay, let's bring this down to our level, hopefully. She's going to take that softball of stone and try to place it in a weak spot.
All right, make that shot.
That is an 8 on the dice, plus 2 is 10.
Ah, nice. Yeah, that'll do it. So that strikes this thing in the now unarmored arm, and it was reaching down to grab the sword. That knocks it free again. It looks up at you, and it looks up at Eliza, and it growls, and with the calcified claws on its other hand, it reaches out and rakes at you, Eliza.
Ooh. How much is getting inflicted?
None, actually, because it misses.
Eliza just like turns, sees it coming, and actually she flips backwards, and the jets on her backpack shoot fire at this thing's hand, and it can't get a grip on her because of that.
And it is now off balance.
Ooh.
Because it failed on that attack roll. So I believe it is now Dez's turn.
Just like, see, you guys got it. You don't you're doing great. You don't need me to do all this.
Are you part of the team or not?
Okay, that gets to her. Yeah, she's gonna transform.
All right, go ahead and roll your transform and tell us what it looks like.
Absolutely.
Or perhaps a better question is, what does Dez experience through this?
She reaches for that bit of her that she doesn't like to think too much about, and immediately feels the tug of the what she now recognizes as magic. And as begrudgingly as she can manage, we hear the almost familiar like transformation chant of her going, "For my friends, for my heart, for everyone." And we see the same transformation sequence, though with Des now visibly wincing as each of her articles of clothing turn pink and frilly, even down to her combat boots, and even her hair turns bright neon pink. And I rolled an 8.
That's enough. You land on your feet, and this time you were expecting it. So it doesn't get to you as much as it has in the past. So you are not hesitating when this happens.
Right, which has been the case every other time. Okay, so that's a partial success.
Yes, which
Okay.
means that you get to shift one toward either light or dark, your call.
She's going to take one more towards dark. So she's at -2 on the dark track.
This thing is going to take another swipe at Eliza. All right, that's a little bit better. It's a partial success, so it deals 1 stress.
The claws like rake across Eliza's exposed torso because her magical outfit bears her midriff, and we get just a little shot of her bleeding before sparks of indigo fire run across that, cauterizing the wound. And she just grins at this thing, and the fire coming out of her jets and on her sword turns black as she is triggering the stalwart soul ability to convert stress into darkness. She has now hit -4 darkness.
All right, top of the round. Who's going first?
I think Des wants to get to protecting folks. Where is everybody?
Eliza is by the pile of swords. Des and Chris are both on the table.
Okay.
Yes, and the monster is currently by the pile of swords with Eliza as well.
And protect only works in the same zone, right?
Generally, depending on what you're doing, it can be different, but since you're using a shield, yes, it would have to be in the same zone.
Okay. Then even though we keep seeing Eliza not heal exactly from the damage, but cauterizing those wounds, I think Des is still gonna sprint over to her and try to intercede her shield between Eliza and the monster.
All right, go ahead and roll.
Can I add endure to it?
Yes.
Excellent. Oh, well, that is 11 on the dice plus 1. That is 12 total.
Yeah, that'll do it. That is a complete success.
Basically negates the next hit that Eliza takes, right?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Which is very annoying.
It's better than that, actually, because I can also use my ability in tandem with that. But I'll bring it up if it comes up.
Why? Why did I give you these powers?
You made the entire game.
I did. Why did I give you these powers?
Why, God, why?
Wait, shit, I'm God. Oh, God. Okay. So I think this thing lashes a couple times at Dez's shield, trying to get past it, and I think it sees that it cannot hurt Eliza here. I think it backs off toward. I think it backs off toward the table, and as it's moving, it rips another tendril from the ground, and you can see it smear this ichor across its body, and it seeps in and starts to close some of the wounds, and it just, oh, still, this won't hurt. And that's its turn.
Right?
So that thing moved
It's in your zone now.
toward the table. Okay. I think Chris has got to take a reaction here. She says, well, that's not how you treat a queen. And she jumps back toward the wall hole. And I would like to use Chris's action and try reading the situation now.
All right. I don't believe you have to roll for that. So you are marking this creature, yes?
Yes.
All right.
So is that okay? So that's a bonus equal to current light.
Yes, it is.
Are we all in the same zone now, or what's
Chris moved to the wall hole.
Chris moved to wall hole? Monster has been able to attack from the table?
It just moved to the table to try to get Chris, and then Chris moved away.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
And it healed up a bit. So Des is gone. Chris is gone. I think it's going to pursue Chris to the wall hole
Hate that.
and
At the wall.
claw at you. But my dice keep rolling ones tonight. So it does in fact miss.
Yay! But it's in my zone again now, right?
Yep, it is lashing at you. You're managing to duck back and forth, use the wall to try and get in the way of this thing's attacks, but it is on top of you.
Cool. Shit.
And I think that brings us to Eliza's turn.
Correct.
All right. Well, she looks at Dez and looks at the shield and just says, "Give me a boost," and sees if Dez will pick up what she's saying there.
Yeah, this is like and she tries to like hold the shield with both hands on either side of it.
All right. Eliza just jumps up and lands on the shield, doing the full boost thing.
And Des tries to like fling her as if she was throwing something off of like a dinner plate.
All right. Now there's a roof here, so we don't get much altitude, but we get enough. And Eliza just gets launched into the air for a moment. And we get that one of those anime zooms in on her face, and the black fire coming out of her sword and her jets just kind of envelops her for a moment. And she just says, "Black fire? Meteor!" And she launches herself with the jets at a sharp diagonal angle straight towards the creature, and she's making a fight roll. Now, it has off balance because it missed, right?
Yes.
So that's a +1. Wow, okay, that's not. You're gonna think I'm bullshitting, but that's another 10 on the dice.
I believe you.
Yeah, okay, so that's a total of 13.
All right. How much stress total is that?
She's at 4 darkness, so that's the maximum 5 stress at once.
Oh.
For those listening at home, 5 stress is as much as it takes to put a player character down.
Yeah.
In a single shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing's armor does not so much as stop you. You do not even blink. It is like a knife through hot butter as you cleave this thing in half. And we see a moment as its body separates, and we see Chris on the other side just sort of staring at where the sword passed within inches of her face. And then each half of the body slumps and falls to the floor.
Eliza has landed in a crouch with one hand on the ground, and she just lets out this breath that's a puff of black fire as she's taking a moment to recover from doing that.
Thanks, hot stuff.
Anytime.
You okay there, Coach?
Takes a lot. And she tucks the sword into the loop on her skirt, looks around. Is the room getting like less tendrily now that this thing's down?
Yes, you can see as its body starts to fade, shadows seem to bleed away from it, and the tendrils on the walls start to wither. The tissue like cables and the ceramic ish purple starts to recede and fade. And it's hard to notice it when you're looking straight at it, but like if you blink, there's been a visible change and it starts to slowly go away.
All right. We did it.
Hey guys, I told you didn't need my help.
I mean, you gave me a boost.
Yeah, like I'm as helpful as a step stool.
You also protected her pretty well.
Yeah, you
Desdemona,
covered it when that thing was going for me.
I guess.
Whew.
Chris, in her platonically tan skirt, walks over to Des and shoves a finger like in her face and goes, "Look, sugar, if you're gonna be part of a team, you better take credit for the shit you do, 'cause it's good stuff."
Des like takes a step back and puts up her hands a little bit. Uh, mm, okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Gotta say, I'm glad I'm not doing this on my own anymore.
Chris like stands down and goes to like stand to Dez's side instead of straight up in her face and goes, "Do you want pancakes?"
Des goes, "Oh my God, I would like some pancakes. It's been at least 24 hours."
I want this to be a running gag, please.
I think it just became one, yes.
Excellent.
So, as this conversation is happening, Eliza, you notice that everything is sort of returning to normal. The cubicle walls have still been shoved to the side. The meeting room table is still in the middle of the room, and that pile of swords is still there.
Eliza's first thing, actually, that she does, she tries to pull out her phone and then realizes that her phone was in her pocket when she did this transformation and it's now stuck in hammer space. And she just sighs and goes over to check out the pile of swords.
Roll me investigate.
All right, now I've got both finding patterns and research. Would either of those apply for this particular role?
Yes. Which do you think would apply more?
Probably finding patterns because she's just kind of looking at them instead of taking the time to dig in and research them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right. Now, Eliza does not have the same level of sword knowledge that Robert has, so she rolls a 7 plus 2 for finding patterns is 9.
This is just a whole chaotic mess of different kinds. There are paring knives, there are bowie knives, there are saws, there are axes, there's just a few. And weirdly, you notice this more than the other types, there are just straight up swords that look like stolen antiques. Some are probably replicas, but I don't know if Eliza could tell those apart.
Probably not.
But weirdly, those seem to be the majority of whatever this collection is.
The, the one of these you two fought before we met, did it use weapons?
Hmm, not like a sword, I don't think.
Chris just shakes her head.
All right. This one's new to me too. The ones I fought, they just used like teeth and claws, and one had this like tentacle thing that was also. I don't want to get into it, but none of them used swords or something. And she picks up the sword that the thing walked into the room holding, and is just looking at it.
It looks like, looking at this, it occurs to even Eliza that this is too flimsy to actually fight with. It looks like some kind of reproduction scimitar that you might find on Amazon or something really cheap.
Why would it be collecting things? Okay, Eliza, you have to tell me legally, is Excalibur real? Is that what's happening right now? Is
God, I hope so.
yeah, but I mean, why would this thing? Why would it want like bladed weapons?
The ones I've run into were they're just basically animals. This is I don't know. I saw no, that doesn't make
Is it a
sense.
crow? Crows like shiny things.
That's what I was thinking. I saw a documentary once about these birds called bowerbirds that would collect like shiny and pretty things to attract a mate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I really hope there's no mate attracting involving these things. But she picks up another one of the swords and it's just this one looks like it might actually belong to. This one looks like it's historical. Have we heard about anything at museums, like break-ins or something?
I think none of us have our phones right now, but that's a good thing to check, I think.
Hmm.
Um, okay. I'll ask the horrible question. Can these things be people?
Chris visibly blanches at that idea.
Mm. These things hunt people and consume who they are. It's,
So yes.
I mean, I guess, maybe.
Uh,
If that's how new ones get. Oh no. Oh no. We really need to find Hazel soon.
Yeah. Yep.
And she actually, with the sword that she's holding, which isn't her sword, she just taps the ground where this thing died. Says, I really hope that wasn't her.
Yeah, I really don't want to think about that. Um, also, no clues again, other than swords?
It's these things. I've never seen one collect something like this. It's mostly just been people they've been collecting. But yeah, I don't know. This one's new to me. Can either of you transform and get your phone out?
Yeah, 100%. I just gotta. How do I detransform?
You said you know about music?
Yeah, I do.
Same way you end a song. Reach into the magic, bring it to a conclusion, or fade out. Just feel it in you and let it end.
Like, like when you know what the last note of a song is before you hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She tries.
Hey, Des, are you done?
She yelps and jumps like 5 feet into the air. Uh, uh, are they peeking their heads in, or are they just
You don't see them yet, but you can hear them getting closer and closer. They will round the corner in the next second or two.
okay?
Eliza's backpack jets fold up back into the backpack.
do I need to?
Up to you.
This is trying desperately to detransform. Find the end of the song. Just go find the end of the song. Do you want this to be a roll, GM, or do you
I
want this?
kind of want this to be a roll.
Okay, I like it as a roll too, because
Do you want to add your current conviction or just a flat roll?
it should just be a flat roll.
All right.
That is a 7. I can make a suggestion,
Go ahead.
which is that she manages to detransform, but not before they see her.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think as you're humming to yourself, ending the song, bringing it to a conclusion, they turn the corner, they look up, they see you in pink, there's a flash of light, and then you're back to normal as you were.
Bunch of heart emojis flying into the air.
Oh, right, the heart emojis. Yeah.
Chris takes that moment. She like waves her arms a little bit in front of Des, and then like squats down as though looking at some sort of special effects tool.
And Des turns around, goes, "Hi. I mean, hey, we're all done in here."
That was a nice quick cleanup and a good test of some special effects stuff. Neat.
Roll for trickery.
Rolling charm.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Aw.
Wait. When you say
This is straight up lying.
it is in fact straight up lying. This is Chris pushing her boundaries for what she can get away with. This is going to be a flat roll. Okay, dice, don't fuck me over now. That's a 9 on the dice.
Okay, they look to you and blink and look back to Des and blink. Pink? Really?
It was my decision.
What are you, a cop?
Yeah, they were. I'm helping. I'm.
But we're doing a cosplay video thing, okay? She gestures to her outfit as Eliza has made no effort to detransform.
Yeah, I'm.
Okay, but like pink is such an establishment color.
I totally agree. That it was still. I made the decision because I needed them to test the gamma on the effects.
I think Pinhead speaks up like, yeah, that was definitely a lot of gamma. That was a bit bright. Maybe turn that down next time.
On it.
Yeah, definitely. Does this count as taking the blame for a friend?
I think it does actually.
Okay,
Oh my God.
that'll be my trigger for the scene.
That's so good.
Cause yeah, we got it taken care of, and look, there's all sorts of cool rusty metal to play with in here.
Yeah, but don't mess with the swords. Those are mine. And she actually like gestures to the one sword in her hip and then the ones in the pile.
Okay.
Which, yeah, let's get those loaded into my car real quick, and we can take them back.
How many swords are there?
9.
9 swords.
Did you just roll dice for how many swords there were?
9 swords.
Yes.
Okay.
2d6 swords acquired.
Well, 9 swords and knives and saws and various other blades.
I'm hearing 9 of each of those.
Okay, so is the only way that Eliza's going to be able to successfully move all of these to the car if we help? Because that's a lot of blades.
Let me go grab the blanket so we can wrap them up.
Yeah, it seems like it would go faster with help.
I did mention last episode that she has a blanket in the back of her car.
It is true.
That you did.
Yeah, I think Eliza heads out if she goes to grab the blankets.
Yeah.
Des is gonna like quietly wave her friends over to grab something if they want some of this rusty metal.
Yeah, I think they start poking around the space, seeing what they can find. They respectfully leave the swords alone, but beyond that, they are definitely. I think one of them starts when you're framing something up with your hands,
Mm-hmm.
starts doing that, looking at one of the discarded cubicle walls, picks it up, lays it against a wall, and starts.
And also walks back in with the blanket from her car and it's just, yeah, we were going for sort of a KMFDM thing, but with like the swords, a different motif. Do you guys think it's working out?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a decent start. Help me, please. What does that mean? That is not in character. What does that mean?
KMFDM is an industrial rock band, which I figured these type of punk guys would know,
Probably.
especially if they're hanging out in an old factory.
Yeah. I, however, do not.
Why do I have all this punk and industrial and other subculture knowledge, and I'm finally using it for something?
Chris is helping pack up the sword.
Yeah, she's wrapping up the swords in the blanket so they can all be transported in a bundle. She's going to have to figure out who they belong to because she has concluded that this thing was stealing swords.
Yep, it takes a minute, but you're able to get everything out without anyone getting cut on something. And pretty soon the three of you are back in the car.
Under the blanket was stashed a change of clothes, and Eliza pulls on. It's actually the very similar to the oversized skirt and baggy hoodie that she had Des wear last time. But yeah, Eliza is now not blatantly in a midriff bearing getup that looks like it's from some anime.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Skylin, has Christy transformed?
So far, she has not. And I
Okay.
think she's staying that way for the time being. She's used to heels, but as she walks out, she's like testing this particular set just to sort of get used to it. And it's about 5 steps in that she gets a confident swagger with it.
Excellent.
Once the swords are packed up, she sort of turns to the other two and goes, well, if we are working on not losing Hazel entirely, are we going after another one today?
Hazel had spotted 3. There was the woods, which was the snakes we dealt with. There was the industrial zone, which was this thing. And there was the suburb. Ash Hollow, you said?
Yeah.
Well, there's no time to waste, because the longer we wait, the worse it'll get. She tosses the swords in the back of her car, realizing that she's going to be driving around with a bunch of weapons, and closes the hatch. It's just like, I say we head there now.
Desdemona, are you okay with doing this?
Yeah, yeah. I'm good. We still have daytime, I think, and we gotta help Hazel.
Want a sword? Go for a whole sword and shield thing like a knight.
Uh, uh,
Wait, it'll disappear if you're holding it when you transform. Damn it. Which, by the way, next time we're somewhere with a bathroom, I've really got to get my phone out.
right. Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
Alright, let's go see if we can get our friend. And instead of taking shotgun, Chris actually goes and sits in the back with Desdemona.
Eliza was just going to ask for somebody to get the directions up.
Oh, I guess it's me. Yeah, Des pulls out her phone and gives directions as you drive.
It takes a little while, but you do manage to get there. By the time you get there, it is dark. I think looking around, it's a collection of fairly peaceful streets. There are yellow lamplights illuminating the road as you roll through. Houses to the left and right of you, and you're not really sure what you're looking for until you see some lights flicking around above your heads, above the lampposts.
As in, we see lights that can't be accounted for by a light.
Yes,
Eliza has not noticed.
you're just continuing driving.
Eliza is a city girl. She just sees lights above her and concludes, oh, must be a helicopter.
They're moving awfully fast for a helicopter.
Might be a plane then. Either way.
I definitely think Des would at least try to point it out.
Oh, whoa. Okay, here. And Eliza, once it's pointed out, she's gonna just pull over to the side of the road nearest, safe place to pull out.
You pull over, I assume you hop out?
Yes, she checks that there are no cars coming first.
Yeah, it's late. It's not a problem. And as you are looking up at these things, you hear a zzz, as you hear the buzzing of rotors.
Oh, it's just a drone.
Oh, that's good. I was worried it was going to be like aliens or something.
Think we're good. You know, I passed through New Mexico when I was driving here. No sign of aliens, so yeah.
Yeah, of course. You went to what, like Roswell? Obviously,
Mhm.
there's not going to be any aliens there. That's where they'd expect the aliens to go.
You know, I also went to Albuquerque. They have a whole Breaking Bad store. That was really weird.
That's really cool. So, okay, do we have any idea what we're looking for here?
So, have we seen the thing that is making the sound of rotors?
I think that, Chris, with your eyesight, you would be able to spot this thing beyond the lights. It is, in fact, a drone. It's extremely small and light. I don't think it looks like someone custom built it, because it doesn't look like a normal store-bought drone. It doesn't have that nice plastic casing. But it is definitely a drone with a camera attached to it, hovering and flitting this way and that.
Is the camera centered on us? What is its? Can I use read here?
You're talking about read as in the artillery ability?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it applies here.
I don't think it does. However, because we have established that you do have good eyesight, you can still try to judge this thing's movements if you want to make a roll for it.
Sure. I'm going to have to maybe have Chris get an ability for this at some point. But that is an 8 on the dice.
It's hard to make out which angle the camera is pointing. However, if you're judging from how it's moving, it looks like it's searching. It looks like it's almost patrolling.
Well, Coach, you're right. It is a drone, and it seems to be looking for something, patrolling. It's doing that flight pattern that birds sometimes do when they're being territorial.
Oh. All right, here's a thought. Hazel had picked up on the weird stuff going on around this town. Maybe somebody else has too. We got to figure out who this drone belongs to.
Did we all get out, or are we still in the car looking at it?
I think we're out, because otherwise we'd lose track of it with the roof.
Well, Coach, if we are wanting to see who that belongs to, then the person to ask is Des. Des, you know a lot of folks in this town. Any chance you know an engineer?
I think I might. Give me 1 second. And she looks up the sky and goes, God? No, can I roll I know a guy to see if I would know an engineer?
Indeed.
Are we going for an engineer?
Engineer, tinkerer, somebody who would make somebody who would bother to build a drone by themselves instead of just buying one.
Okay, that is a 5 plus a 2, so a 7 total.
All right, write that down because I think this is a good place as this phone begins to ring to wrap up. Thank you everyone so much for playing, and thank you to our audience for joining us tonight. Thank you all so much, and have a good night. Thank you again for joining us on this adventure. With Conviction is a production of Silver Maiden Games. If you would like to play Conviction, check out the game at silvermaidengames.itch.io. Music for the intro and outro of this podcast is A Soul with Conviction by Doom Vega, who you can find on Bandcamp. Music within the episodes is by Rachel Rose Mitchell, who you can find on Bandcamp and Spotify. All rights to the music are retained by their original artist. Production and editing are done by myself and the With Conviction cast. Thank you all. This would not be what it is without you. You can find this podcast on Spotify and YouTube or silvermaidengames.wordpress.com. You can also find more about the game, podcast, and ways to contact us at silvermaidengames.wordpress.com.